Okay, we're gonna go into NASCAR per usual. We have
Go faster
Phil.
and left.
We missed 1 week just due to complications. We had things going on. I think Phil was busy. We were busy. It was just what it was. So we're gonna
Phil was
kind
at
of.
a conference.
Oh yeah, Phil was busy. He's doing baseball
Big boy stuff.
So we will chat with him right now. We'll get him on. Obviously, we missed Talladega, which was a big race. Charlotte was just this weekend. We are now into the round of 8.
Yes,
obviously,
we are.
the big news, Phil kind of let us know today as well. Bowman got disqualified. I'm not sure why, so we'll ask Phil. And that puts Joey Logano in the 8 spot. Yeah, which is annoying because he's like a weird-looking giraffe or something. I can't stand him.
And he wins, so I don't
He
really want to
does
see
figure it out. So, Phil, why is Bowman gone? What did he do?
The car was too light. They weigh the cars after the race. Too light. They give him a chance to put fuel in the car. They did twice. Still couldn't get it to the minimum height.
How far was it off?
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't reveal that. I don't think. Not to my knowledge.
And
But yeah,
that just put points wise. That just put Logano in front of Bowman.
Well, it put him at 38th place, and he finished like 11th or 18th
that's
or
what I
something.
mean. So just points wise, it just flipped him. So it wasn't that he got disqualified out of going into the round 8. He got disqualified from Charlotte, which then kicked him out of the round of 8. Well, that's a bummer. I mean, because he was racing pretty well lately, but
Yeah.
obviously that.
He was my pick to win, so I was kind of sad.
I don't even remember who I picked to win Charlotte.
I didn't pick to win Charlotte. I picked him to win Talladega, and he finished.
I picked Bubba, and I don't know what he did. But anyway,
No
Phil,
idea.
Charlotte, Talladega. Obviously, it's 2 weeks ago now, but big news, had a huge wreck in it.
Huge.
I heard it was a record. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, first I want to mention that the racing was incredible. They were running wide, about 6-7 rows deep for like most of the race.
Dang.
It was crazy. They didn't wreck. That was the crazy part. Until the end, with about a few laps to go, 28 cars were involved. That was a record.
Oh, 28? Dang.
28 cars, yeah.
Yeah, what I looked up too, it was 8 of those were playoff drivers out of the 12 still remaining at that point. So,
Talladega that's what it produces. But honestly, like the points were so close that everyone having bad finishes and only a few had a good finish. They really didn't trade too many points because they were already pretty close to being finished. So it didn't affect the points too much. And we had a non-playoff winner once again. So
Yes,
do you think that wreck played into him getting closer, or did he run well most of the race?
who are you talking about?
Senhouse. Just with the wreck, did that help him go forward, or when did that wreck occur?
When was the wreck? Was it like 5 laps ago, 10 laps ago? Like, do you remember roughly?
It was like 20, I believe.
Oh,
Okay, so it was pretty close to the end.
But I mean, it helped him. But Stenhouse is a good plate racer. I mean, he's won Talladega before. He's won at Daytona twice. We saw him win in person.
Yeah, we did. I remember that.
He's perfectly capable of winning races on these big tracks. So I wasn't surprised one bit. But again, it was a 3-wide finish, 6 thousandths of a second.
Yeah, it was close.
I mean, that place never ever disappoints. It's like the most exciting track in NASCAR.
Do you think so? We've known for a little bit since we kind of worked there, and just kind of rumors that they're going to move the final, the championship race from Phoenix. There's the chance that it might not get renewed there, and they might move it somewhere else. Do you where do you think? Would you say Talladega? Just like you said, it seems to have the most interesting races. No, you don't like it there.
It won't be at a super speedway.
I would shy away from the super speedways for the last race because it can rely on other people. Championship about that particular 4 people and their skill set. I would want it to be something they can do on their own.
Okay.
Achieve something. So I would keep it off the super speedways. I don't care where it is. But Phoenix, it'll be there next year, 2025.
Okay. Oh, it's still 1 more year.
We've been talking about it, but who knows what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting too because obviously with the, like you said, 28 cars, it looks like only 9 did not finish running. So obviously there was a lot of cars that did wreck, but 9 like fully
Not so much damage.
Yeah, not as much damage. Obviously, you said there was a couple, whatever of those. Sam said the number. How many?
It was
people?
8 of the 12 playoff drivers in that at that time wrecked. I don't know if all of them finished, but 8 of them wrecked.
Yeah, bunch. I don't know. Like Ryan Blaney, I believe, is one of them. Logano would have been one of them at the time. Still, obviously, that probably kicked him out. Now he's back in, and I think that was it. I don't think any of the rest of the guys that didn't finish. But yeah, so it didn't cause a ton of damage, but it was just a pile up of cars. like you said, obviously Talladega, the super speedways tend to have the big one every
and
so
they
you know,
did.
and it held up. And then you go into Charlotte where the racing seemed like it was pretty boring. Just different type of racing altogether. Not very fun. It didn't look like,
Can
obviously,
they just
a lot
not
of people
really
said.
get up to speed because the track's so much shorter since it's in a super speedway?
One dude got all 4 tires off the. It was crazy how close they did. It was
I didn't see
like
that.
the 42 or maybe the 48. I don't know. It was a purple car that weekend. I don't know.
Well, the 48, if it's purple, that would have been Bowman.
It might have been, but he got all 4 tires off, and I was like, "What is this? This is crazy." But different racing for sure.
Yeah, and Phil was there. So what did you think? I know you weren't the biggest fan of it, but what was Charlotte like?
This was track 26 for me. I like to throw that out there.
Wow.
I don't know. I didn't have too high expectations. Road courses in person, or like I said before. This one was different because you can see the whole track from sitting, so that was pretty good. It just seems like one of those stinkers, man. Like a couple weeks ago when Kyle Larson just dominated Bristol. I mean, he did the same thing yesterday. It just didn't seem like there was any passing towards the front. I know. I'm sure TV did its job and showed portrayed a good race, and I'm sure it was exciting to some watching TV.
Yeah.
But many races that I've been to, it's probably over 100 at this point.
Yeah,
you're
spot on.
It was not. It just was not exciting for the fan in person. It was very drug out, and it just felt like it lasted forever.
Was there just not a lot of passing, or was it just
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to go into that because out of the 109 laps, there were Larson led 62. The next closest was Shane Van Gissenberg at 21, and that was really it. Obviously, then you had AJ Allmendinger was at 14. So it was like you said, Phil. It was basically a one-man show, pretty much. I mean, more than half the race.
Well, Gisbergen led. He was pole, so he led the first 20 couple laps.
Okay.
Larson became the leader, and there was a couple times where he would come to pit road before the end of the stage.
Sure.
And Allmendinger would stay out just points, and that's why he led the 14 laps. He really wasn't up front. He was in the top 10 most of the day, but he led those laps because Larson had pitted early. If he wouldn't have, the Larson probably would have led more laps. So it was Larson the whole day, and there was nobody even close. And when you're in the stands, you can just see that it's just not the same experience or not the experience you want.
Sure.
You want to see, and I really think going into the round of 8, when we talk about that, we might see more of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask too, because going into the round of 8, we're going to Vegas. Vegas this year, Larson won it. Shocker! It seems like Larson's won every race. He just doesn't. The dude's just on fire this year. He's having an amazing year. Do you see and I know that there's any race can be different, but is Larson the easy favorite right now? Is there anyone else that's even near him?
Bowman was pretty consistent.
Yeah,
but now he's
just
obviously
on
out.
On fire. He's just on fire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the front runner for sure. I will say again, I'm going to throw Kyle Busch's name out there again.
Hell yeah, we need
really strong this weekend. He's ran in the top 10 the last 2 races at Vegas. It's his home track. He's won there before. I'm still praying, kind of hoping that he gets into victory lane here in the last 4 races.
Yeah, I mean, last race I was looking at it in Vegas. Again, Larson, out of the 267 laps completed, he led 181 of them this year. So, again, like you said, he's just the shoe-in to win the whole thing. It just seems like we've just kind of said he is
just been Mr. Consistent almost.
Yeah, just on fire. He's consistent. It's just like someone else has to almost wreck him to get him out of this because he's that guy right now.
He's just not more talented, but he's proving how good he is.
He can drive this car better than anyone, it seems like, and he just, I mean, until someone proves at least me different. I mean, what was that, his 6th win this year or something like that? Was this weekend?
Yeah. I think the only driver that's even remotely in the ballpark right now is Christopher Bell. He's been very. He ran in second most of the race yesterday. He's really good at Homestead. That's coming up here in a couple weeks, so. I really think it comes down to Larson and Bell. Hamlin's kind of fallen off. Logano's fallen off. These guys are just not as consistent. William Byron's he's up front all the time, but he can't seem to finish the deal. So we'll see for a win. That is top 5 constantly.
Sure.
So I might even throw up Byron in that discussion as well. But those really the three are going to be, unless something crazy happens. And it's all going to come down. It's not. It's about the entire team, right? In NASCAR, I think it's just the driver doing all the work, but the pit crews, everybody prepares the cars. It's all going to come down to who can execute the most in these last 4 races.
Thanks for listening to the Kinda Athletic podcast. Please like and subscribe to all our social media platforms and make sure to come back next week to hear more from the Kinda Athletic podcast.